So we just had the final Diablo 4 developer livestream before the Lord of Hatred expansion is released, and while we got a ton of new information and things clarified within the stream, there was a few things within it that were massive teases to things that really haven't been like officially announced. And the thing we're going to be going over in this video, while they showed it in the footage, they didn't actually talk about it. This was definitely just a tease to tell us that this thing actually exists in the game, and this thing is absolutely massive. So at the part in the live stream where they were going over the talisman, they were showing a bunch of different seals, which is the item you put in the middle of the talisman that also dictates how many sockets on the outside you will be able to use. So more specifically, how many charms you will be able to equip into your talisman. And one of the seals they showed off had a purple text line on it. And this reads, reduces the number of charms needed for set bonuses by 1 to a minimum of 2. Now, right when you saw this, you were probably thinking that is the mythic color for mythic items in the game, but it's on a legendary Horadric seal. So what's actually going on with this item? And I think I actually know the answer to that, because based upon the color and how strong of an effect this is, it seems that this is just mythic quality effect on a Horadric seal, and that would be completely right, because later on in the stream when they showed off the season journey that's coming with the expansion, because there is a season launching with the expansion, at the final rank of the season journey, one of the objectives is to equip a mythic Horadric seal, and that being in purple. So based upon the information we now have, there are just mythic Horadric seals in the game, which again is a thing that goes in the middle of your talisman. And also based upon that, it seems they showed us one of these mythic Horadric seals. Now, I think what happened and why this Horadric seal is still called a legendary Horadric seal and still has the color of the legendary is this is probably just a dev spawned in item that was either not completed or was just like a dev spawned in item and they just put the mythic effect on it as a tease, because obviously this should be an actual mythic seal. And if you look at the sell value of this item, it's actually 267 million gold if you just vendor this item, which obviously is not the price this item should be vendoring for. So I think this is just a developer spawned in item to tease this effect or tease mythics. They might have even done this on purpose, so not everybody would actually see this and instantly think this is a mythic Horadric seal, because if they just showed off a purple Horadric seal, everybody would be like, oh, there's mythic Horadric seals. But if they just put this effect on a legendary one instead as kind of a tease, and then also later in the stream also show the one objective that tells you the rest of the information, they could kind of tease it a little bit and everybody won't know about it, but people who are looking closely will actually see it. So this is a pretty massive reveal that there will just be mythic Horadric seals. There will probably be multiple other mythic effects. I'm presuming this isn't the only mythic effect, but this one is pretty crazy. So to go back over it, reduce the number of charms needed for set bonuses by 1 to a minimum of 2. And I'm pretty sure what this is explaining here is that to get the set bonus for set bonus charms, you need 1 less, but you can't just use like a single set item and get the 2-piece bonus. So what this is generally going to be doing is if you want a 5 set, you'll only need 4 charms. If you want a 3 set, you'll only need 2 charms. And there will definitely be some pretty massive combinations with this, because that means you could get the 5 set bonus from a set with only 4 of the charms. Then you could use 2 other pieces from another set and get that 3 set. So you could have a 5 set and a 3 set. Or what could also be crazy is you can actually have 3 set bonuses, because also keep in mind this seal that they showed off does have 6 charm slots, but also based on all the information we have on how seals work, this one specifically can't actually use any unique charms, because it'll specifically tell you how many unique charms that seal can use, if it can use any. And if I'm not mistaken, how that actually works out is it's just kind of how these seals randomly roll, to where it can roll a certain amount of charm slots you have unlocked, and then a certain amount of those can be unique. And And from all the information I've seen and all the seals I've seen, I've only seen a seal allow up to 2 unique charms. Maybe there'll be ones that are more. Maybe there'll be a mythic effect that is more focused on allowing you to equip even more unique charms. That one may be a little bit less of a chance, because just allowing you to use even more than 2 unique charms is pretty crazy. Because keep in mind, you can turn any unique item in the game into a unique charm and get the exact same unique effect. So if they're doing things to allow you to increase that cap of unique charms you can use, that's essentially just having on more unique armor pieces, and a lot of the unique effects from armor pieces are just incredibly strong in general, so they may not do that, but I am very curious to see if there will be more mythic effects for these seals, because this one is obviously crazy by itself. The amount of different sets you'll be able to have because of this mythic charm is pretty crazy, and also based upon the class specific sets we've seen so far, their bonuses are absolutely crazy. Even the 3 set bonuses on some of the ones we've seen so far are pretty strong. Obviously the 5 set is where it gets really crazy, but being able to have a 5 set and a 3 set bonus are pretty crazy. Being able to have a 3 set bonuses are pretty crazy. So mythic seals are seeming to be pretty cracked, even if it's only this effect we can actually get. This does also bring into question, will there be mythic charms? And my presumption with that is no. And I think the reason for that being is sets are a new rarity in themselves, and they probably want you using mostly set pieces, especially when you get into the end game. Again, it seems that they want to cap the amount of unique charms you can use, so they definitely want you more focusing on using these sets, because some of the sets they've shown off are absolutely crazy. They add a ton of cool new effects. They add a bunch of just completely new things to the classes that they didn't have previously. One of the paladin ones is just giving you like a bunch of these like new ultimates. One of the druid ones just gives you bear companions that buff up your other companions, that cast more spells, that give you more companions of all of the other companions. So there's just a bunch of very gameplay changing effects on set items, and they probably don't want there to be a rarity above that. And I also haven't seen any seals that say specifically being able to equip mythic charms. Presumably if they would have mythic charms, it would just be considered a unique, which is I think generally what they're still considered anyway. But my presumption here is that there are not mythic charms, but as we can see, there are mythic seals, which is definitely just something super exciting as well. There's just so much stuff with this expansion, and just having more stuff like this on top of it that the developers are seemingly specifically teasing and not fully revealing. So there's definitely going to be some crazy combinations in Lord of Hatred, but that's all I want to go over. So thanks for watching.
You'll find both seals and charms naturally as you play, across a range of rarities. Seals are the foundation. They unlock additional charm slots, roll bonus affixes, and in some cases they can even change the rules for what charms you're allowed to equip.